If you ever put your hands on me again,
what?
I will fucking kill you.
We already lost one kid, Tasha. Don't you ever motherfucking forget it. If Tariq dies, his blood is on your hands. Your hands.
The only St. Patrick I acknowledge is Tariq St. Patrick. And you better not tell him I said that.
I'm Tariq St. fucking Patrick.
We got a whole lot of...
I love that they hate it.
You were very, very disliked. Like,
Yes.
they loved you as an actor, but in your character, you were very, very disliked. How did you handle that?
At first, I didn't really like understand it because it was just like,
It wasn't about us being gangster. It was just also he could figure another way to get out.
Fuck.
But what is Ghost to you? It's a good.
Ghost
this
is
a good.
gangster.
It's a good conversation. What is Ghost to you?
Ghost is a gangster.
What is a gangster?
When we met, what'd you think I was gonna be?
So, Power fans, to the community, what do you guys think about, I guess, the prequels? Everything that we've gotten so far, prequels, the spinoffs, more spinoffs, and more spinoffs that we're gonna most likely get, because saying how Power never really dies. But the one question that I actually wanted to ask y'all today was, do y'all think that Tariq should have gotten, or should he be even a part of like Power Legacies? Because when you hear the name of like Power Legacies, you would think like, okay, like either somebody completely different, like a completely different cast of people, rather than just like the same old people, or the fact that it would be Power Legacies, but we saying like somebody's kids, and this is like 10 years, 20 years into the future, and they go further on, and they just kind of like take it up from there. Because I know that we're gonna get like the whole Tommy and Tariq, and I know that's gonna be an interesting show and an interesting development. But I know that we all was pissed about like, you know, the ending of Power Book 2 Ghost. I mean, some people liked it, and I said on the channel, I said the ending was pretty mid because I didn't like it. I'm like, where was Ghost? This shit was mid. So I know that they're gonna give us Power Legacies, and it's gonna be a continuation to like Tariq and Tommy's story. But I guess the real question is like, should have just been maybe Tommy rather it being like Tariq, because I know that people wanted to see like more from Tariq because they was enjoying like the story that they was getting in like Power Book 2 Ghost, and they was really enjoying his story, right? And I would say like it should have just, in my opinion, maybe they could have just stopped like maybe like right there, like, oh, like this is it for Tariq and that's it. Because my only take as to why I would say that is because, again, like who else is there in New York City? Like who else is there? Because when they started off with like Power Book 2 Ghost, it only made sense because at the time there was nobody. Ghost was dead, Milan gone, Jason gone, Merkovich, like oh, not Merkovich, Lobos, like everybody, the Jimenez cartel, everybody, they was all gone in New York City. So there wasn't really anybody in New York City to like, you know, stand in nobody's way. And it only made sense for, okay, you had Monet, the Tejada family, you had Mecca, you had Noma, right? And then you even had Zion for like a small fraction of a second, right? So it only made sense for them to come in because there was nobody in control of New York City anymore. All the old players and the top players was basically gone or dead. So it only made sense for the pickings to come into New York City and to take over. Now, granted, it does make sense in the way of, okay, if they're going to do like the whole Ghost in the Machine, so they wouldn't technically know who's really running the city, right? But it's really Tariq that's actually in control, and he's the one running the city. So you could, it would make a fair argument of like, okay, if there's not really anybody running the city, then somebody out of state can just come over and do whatever they like. So I can see that argument as well. But though, also the thing that I wanted to bring up too was, I guess like all of the like the shows that we've gotten so far, because from Power Book Full Force, right? I know some of y'all's liked it, some of y'all's wasn't really on board with it, and also like Raising Kanan, because the story that we gotten from like Raising Kanan was really good. And I know from some people in the community, I know some people love Kanan. Some people love Kanan. I know there's probably like maybe a few people out there like, because of the stuff that he was doing, right? So, which is fair. But when we've gotten the story from like Kanan, like Raising Kanan, it was incredibly incredibly good. It was really good, right? And we got like an introduction to Rock and all these other characters, and I felt like the origin story was needed because not that much was really known about Kanan. It was just like, oh, he was the guy that mentored both Tommy and Ghost, right? And eventually Ghost sent him to prison, right? So when we got the origin story for Kanan, it's perfect. And we all invested into all these characters, and I think it actually made sense because we all know what happens to Kanan in the future. We already know what happens, but it's just nice to see that we're getting like the story from Kanan, and then eventually we're gonna see that story where Ghost is gonna send Kanan to prison. So we're gonna get all of that, right? And and all of that is gonna come in Power Origins, right? Now going over to Power Origins. So I know you like this. Obviously, some story towards Ghost that we don't really know, right? And we're gonna get more on the story of Ghost because at the end we already know what happens to Ghost too. So it's gonna be nice to see like his story and what everything that takes place. And my take on it is that I know that like Ghost and Tommy's story is infinitely better, will be infinitely better than the Brayden and the Tariq story, because when you really think about it, Tariq and Brayden was both Nepo babies. I think I might be using the word wrong, but everybody, that word just comes up frequently these days. So I just figure, hey, you know what? I might as well throw that word in there if it makes sense. But I feel like these two are basically Nepo babies because when you really think about it in their story, Tariq, Ghost was a millionaire, right? So it's not like Tariq didn't have money. He had everything, right? Brayden, their family was fucking rich. So it's like there's no way, of getting into this life and shit, right? But we understand how the circumstances led them to like getting into the game. But see, my personal take on it should have been Ghost giving the nightclub to Tariq and having Tariq and Brayden work on the nightclub together, and then that's how they transition into like the drug game. I would have had some shit done that way rather than the alternative. But going back to the original point here is that when we've gotten like these spin-offs and like these prequel stories, it's just adding up even more, and it's just making sense to what we're going to be getting. So that's why I'm saying it's like, sure, Power Legacies is going to be great. It's going to be good, right? Because it's going to be Tariq and Tommy. But it's like, I don't know. I feel like maybe they should have just, like I said, they should have just stuck with like maybe Tommy rather than going with, oh, both Tommy and Tariq. But it makes sense because both of these men want to like stay in the game. And I guess this is going to be like their final finish. Like this is going to be like they final race to the game and seeing like, okay, what's going to actually happen to both of their characters, of if Tommy's going to die or if Tariq is going to die or if one of them was going to like go to prison, and then see that, Ghost was actually right about all of this. So again, it's like Power Legacies is going to be like one thing, but I know that in the community, everybody was saying that, well, they love Power, the original Power. They love Raising Kanan, and I'm pretty sure they're going to love Power Origins, but I know there was some of y'all that's out there who's like, like Power Book 4 Force was okay, not really compelling or pulling. And then Power Book 2 Ghost, everybody was just literally waiting on, okay, you hear the Ghost part in there. Is this man showing back up? That shit didn't happen. So I'm like, now that we getting Power Legacies, and it's just going to be a continuation of what Tariq was doing, and what I guess whatever stuff that Tommy's gonna be getting involved with, and then they're gonna have a partnership, and they're gonna work together, and I guess they're gonna be moving weight together, whatever how that's gonna like play out. But I know it's gonna be interesting for a while. But as I said, I'm like, was it really needed? Because I understand, because Power been around for like what, I think 10 plus years, and they always say like Power never really ends, and there's always going to be like more stuff that they can really add to the story. But my question is, how much can you really add to the story until eventually you've drained it out? Like there's not much you can really add to the story if there's one character that everybody really, really wants to come back, but can't come back and probably will never come back. But it's like, what more can you really add to the story? Like besides like all these spin-offs and prequels, because I'm hearing rumors, well, not rumors, like not official rumors, but stuff that goes on in the Power community, like, oh, what if we would have gotten like a Raisin Rock, prequel. Like, okay, we've gotten Rock, now we got a Raisin Rock. And I'm like, I think that's too much prequel, you know? I think that's too much prequel. I think we've gotten what we've gotten from Rock. I don't think I would want to see a prequel. I don't think I would want to. Like, I'm all right with Power Origins because not that much is known about Ghost, and we don't know not too much about Tommy either. Like the stuff that he was also getting involved with as well. So it's like I'm okay with that because that needs substance, that needs energy, that needs to be looked at and well studied. But Power Legacy though, I feel like they should have just done something with different characters. Brought in like a whole different crew. Like Power Legacy should have been something about maybe, I don't know, like a crew in Atlanta, a crew in California, something different that's like not revolving around like Tariq or even Tommy. But I understand they want to continue the story. But like I said, how much can you continue the story into either people get burnt out or people just I don't know, just be waiting on if that question keeps coming up every year or so. Is that man gonna be coming back? And every time that question keeps getting brought up, the answer will always be no, maybe, no, I think so, no, oh shit, I think I see him, but no. So yeah, that's just my thoughts for today about like you know, the prequels and I guess the things that we're going to be getting in Power Legacies. But I just can't wait to see like Origins. Like I just want to know what they're going to do in there because I'm pretty sure there's going to be some fun shit that's going to break down in like Power Origins. But yeah, but as always, you know, let me know in the comment section down below, like what do you guys think of, you know, is it too much or do you believe that it's fine and we should get the Power Legacies and finally seeing if what really happens to Tariq at the end. You know, everybody's clamoring on their seats like, what's gonna happen? But you know, but as always, you know, like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I catch you all in the next one.